Ghost balance. In the world of commerce, trust is currency. And for decades, Vanguard Assurance and Audit, one of America's most respected accounting firms, was the gold standard of that trust. From Wall Street IPOs to Fortune 500 audits, their seal carried weight. Their opinions could make or break a corporation. But when federal agents raided their glass-walled headquarters in downtown Chicago one cold February morning, the image shattered. What they found inside the firm's servers wasn't a record of integrity. It was an intricate labyrinth of fraud, betrayal, and cover-ups so elaborate it blurred the line between auditor and criminal. This is the story of Ghost Balance. For 15 years, Vanguard Assurance and Audit, or VAA, had served as the external auditor for Logitrust Global, a booming logistics and supply chain giant. On paper, Logitrust was the American dream incarnate, started in a New Jersey garage, expanded through acquisitions, and listed on NASDAQ within a decade. Its CEO, Blake Harlow, was a charismatic genius, a man who promised transparency through technology. He revolutionized the industry with smart shipping sensors and blockchain-based inventory systems. Investors loved him, politicians praised him. But deep inside, beneath the perfect PR machine, Logitrust was crumbling under the weight of its own lies. The company's supposed real-time logistics platform, mostly fake data, the containers on screen, supposedly moving across oceans, were ghost entries, fabricated phantom shipments used to inflate revenue, attract loans, and keep investors hooked. And Vanguard, the trusted auditor, wasn't just asleep at the wheel. They were holding the pen that signed off on the lies. It all began with a single email. Emily Cross, a 32-year-old forensic accountant at Vanguard, had spent weeks reconciling regional ledgers from Logitrust's Singapore operations. Something didn't add up. Containers listed as in transit for over 180 days. No customs documentation, no port of entry. Yet, millions in revenue tied to those shipments were being recognized quarterly. When she escalated the issue to her superior, Marcus Thorne, the lead audit partner, he brushed it off. "Don't get hung up on regional discrepancies," he told her. "The client's data system is complicated. Focus on the sampling." But Emily had seen enough fraud patterns in her career to recognize the red flags. Consistent rounding figures, identical invoice IDs reused across regions, and a suspicious shell company repeatedly appearing in payment trails. Aegis Freight Solutions looted, registered in the Cayman Islands. When she ran the financial statements backward, the cash flow between Logitrust and Aegis mirrored each other. Revenue on one end, expense on another, both perfectly balanced in timing. It was the classic Ponzi rhythm disguised as global trade. Emily's insistence drew unwanted attention. Marcus Thorne began to exclude her from key meetings, redirecting her reports. Then she stumbled upon an internal memo, marked confidential, from Blake Harlow himself to Marcus. "Appreciate your discretion regarding subsidiary disclosures. The optics must remain strong this quarter. Your bonus structure reflects our continued alignment." A simple line, but damning. It meant the auditor and client were in cahoots. She printed the email and locked it away in her desk. That same night, her access to the audit database was suspended for system maintenance. The next morning, she was reassigned to a different client. But Emily didn't stop. She started keeping backups, metadata, transaction IDs, and server logs, all stored on an encrypted drive she kept hidden under her kitchen sink. Meanwhile, the numbers at Logitrust kept ballooning. Revenue grew 35% annually. Wall Street hailed it as the Amazon of logistics. Behind the facade, Harlow's empire was a hollow shell, feeding investor money into circular accounts, paying earlier investors with new capital, and falsifying audit trails with Vanguard's digital signature. Every quarter, Thorne signed off without hesitation. And every year, Vanguard collected seven-figure audit fees. Then came the European expansion, a move that would expose everything. To impress foreign investors, Logitrust claimed to have acquired a German freight firm, Nordsped GmbH, for 480 million. But when the EU anti-fraud office cross-checked the transaction, Nordsped didn't exist. A routine verification email from a junior officer triggered a chain reaction. Within weeks, German regulators contacted the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. By the time federal agents opened an investigation, billions had been siphoned off through offshore subsidiaries linked to Aegis Freight, all with clean audit opinions from Vanguard. When the FBI arrived at Vanguard's Chicago office, Marcus Thorne was in a meeting with clients. Agents escorted him out in handcuffs. Forensic teams mirrored the firm's entire server environment. Over 3 terabytes of encrypted files were uncovered. Internal chat logs, offshore consulting payments, and secret contracts coded as client facilitation fees. In one message thread, Thorne and Harlow discussed how to manage audit exposure. Harlow proposed creating a dummy consulting firm, Titlegate Partners, to route hush money to cooperative auditors. Vanguard's managing partners denied knowledge, but federal prosecutors believed otherwise. When forensic analysts decrypted Marcus's backup drive, they found a directory labeled simply Vault. Inside, spreadsheets listing facilitation disbursements, matching audit sign-offs, and internal memos titled Ghost Balance. That was the phrase used inside Vanguard to describe fake entries that balanced books with no underlying transaction. Ghost ledgers created to make numbers look perfect. Emily Cross came forward as a cooperating witness. Her testimony connected the dots between Aegis Freight, Titlegate Partners, and internal Vanguard emails. She faced retaliation, online smear campaigns, anonymous threats, and attempts to discredit her credentials. At one point, her apartment was broken into. Only her laptop was stolen. She went into protective custody as the Department of Justice assembled its case. The investigation took 18 months. More than $2. $3 billion in falsified revenue was uncovered across 14 countries. Vanguard's client list was scrutinized. Several smaller firms were found using the same ghost balance accounting templates. When the trial opened in federal court, the defense claimed Emily fabricated evidence, but the prosecution had her encrypted drive, and metadata from Vanguard's own servers confirmed she'd copied the files before her access was revoked. The digital forensics sealed the case. Blake Harlow, the visionary CEO, was sentenced to 22 years in federal prison for securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. Marcus Thorne received 17 years for conspiracy and obstruction of justice. Vanguard Assurance and Audit collapsed overnight. Thousands lost jobs. The American Institute of CPAs revoked its membership, but the scandal didn't stop there. Several other audit firms quietly restated past financial reports, terrified of similar exposure. The case changed the landscape of auditing forever, leading to the passage of the Corporate Accountability and Transparency Act, mandating forensic verification for all multinational audit clients with offshore subsidiaries. Emily Cross never returned to public accounting. She accepted a position in Washington as a senior forensic advisor at the Financial Crimes Task Force. When interviewed for a documentary years later, she said something that still resonates. Numbers don't lie, but people do, and sometimes it takes losing everything to make the truth visible, moral, and call to action. Financial systems thrive on trust, but trust without verification breeds corruption. The ghost balance case reminds us that even the gatekeepers can be compromised when profit overshadows principle. We must protect the whistleblowers, demand transparency from corporations, and hold auditors accountable. The next time a company promises unbreakable growth in profit, remember, every number has a story, and every story deserves an audit.